Yo, what's up, guys? It's Austin here, or Luna. So, my last story time, I talked about a hacker I met on Xbox who messed with me a little bit and pulled some pranks on me. And you guys seem to like that story time a lot. I'll throw a link in the description to that video if any of you didn't see it. But anyway, this story time is also about a hacker. I thought I would tell another one because you guys seem to like the last one so much. This story time is also about a hacker, but it's a little bit more ridiculous and just kind of funny in my opinion. I hope you enjoy this, and let's jump right into it. So the story time takes place 3 years ago, okay? Now, I was just uploading videos, traveling a little bit when I could, and just enjoying life as much as I could. And one morning I wake up and I go on Twitter and I'm going through my DMs and I go through my requests. I have my DMs open to everybody, I usually do. And I was going through my requested DMs for people that wanted to send me stuff. And I see this one DM pending approval, and it's my address. And I go to the Twitter and there's like nothing on it. There's no tweets, no likes. He only follows me. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, who is this? And the Twitter username was John Egglord, which in itself was hilarious. And the photo was some weird, like, egg cartoon thing. And I'm like, why is this a thing? So I just ignore it, right? Because I'm thinking, like, it's either some hacker on the internet that's just trying to get a rise out of me, or it's a friend from in real life with a fake Twitter trying to mess with me and scare me. So I just ignore this guy and go on with my day, because, at this point, there's really nothing more I could do. Like, I'm not going to respond to him and give him attention. And later that day, I checked my DM requests again, out of kind of just being paranoid to see if they said anything else. And of course, they did. The account DM'd me again. It was like, I shall not be ignored. And I'm like, all right, I'm ignoring him. So I keep ignoring him. And that day was pretty normal. Other than those two DMs, nothing else really happened. So I just went about my night. Next day was a little bit different. I wake up and I have a bunch of restricted phone calls, which was just weird in itself because I didn't think he had my number. And I'm getting fraud alerts from this identity theft website that I was signed up to, saying that someone was trying to use my SSN to sign up for some credit card or something. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, there's no way this dude has all this info about me. Like, how would he get all of that? So I go on Twitter and check my DMs again to see if it's possibly him. And of course, it is. I have a DM from John Egglord saying, oh, I hope you enjoy all the gifts I bought you. Now, luckily, since I was signed up to an identity theft protection place, I didn't have, like, cards made in my name or, like, my SSN used to make an account to buy stuff like he was saying. That didn't happen because I had protection. But still, like, what the hell is this dude trying to do? Like, I didn't do anything to this guy. He's trying to buy stuff with, like, my identity and, like, put me in debt and call my phone and whatever and probably leak my number. So, of course, I freak out and I start going on Google and looking for my phone number and looking for my SSN and looking for all this stuff. And there's nothing. I'm like, okay, this is weird. So for a couple days, I keep getting fucked with on and off. Like, just hacker things like pizza and phone calls and, the occasional fraud alert, things that you don't want to deal with. And then one morning I wake up like 5 days after everything started to happen, and I get a DM from this other dude in my requests saying, yo, man, like, I can't watch this any longer. I have a friend in real life. He's messing with you. He's got your info. He got it from one of your friends in real life by pretending to be somebody that knows you and manipulating your friend. Here's all of his info. He's 15. Please don't tell him that I'm the one that told you. And this kid sends me everything about this hacker. Like, everything about him. Address, name, phone number, parents' info, all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, this is strange. So I DM the dude back, and I'm like, yo, are you talking about the John Egglord dude? And he's like, yes, that's my friend. He got your info by DMing one of your IRL friends, pretending to be another IRL friend of yours, saying like, yo, I lost Austin's number. Can you give it to me? And he got your number, and from there he got all of your personal information, like your name and all this other stuff about your identity. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Also, in my head, I'm thinking like, holy shit, this kid's 15? Like, this kid's really spending some of his adolescent years trying to commit identity theft, doxing people. Like, that's not what you're supposed to do at 15. Anyway, so I think about it for a second on what I want to do, and I try calling the phone number the dude gave me in the DM, and I call the number, and it rings, and it rings, and it goes to voicemail. And the number must have belonged to the kid's parents because the voicemail was like a family voicemail. It was like, hi, you've reached the residence of this family. Leave a message and we'll call you back. So I think about it for a minute and I'm like, all right, let me look up his address because like I want to know how close this dude lives because it was a New York address and I'm from New York. but there's a lot of towns in New York, so I didn't know if it was close, if it was upstate, downstate, whatever. So I look up the address, and it's an hour away from me. And I'm like, okay, this is interesting. So I just decide, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to hop in my car and go visit this kid's house, knock on the front door, and be like, hey, I'm Austin. Your son's trying to commit identity theft. Here's the proof. Please ground him. Like, that was my idea. Not the best idea, because for all I knew, this could have been some random house that didn't belong to the kid and his parents. But I went anyway. I called up one of my friends. He came and picked me up, and we drove an hour out to this house. It's like 7 o'clock at night. We get there. I walk up to the front door. I knock on the door, and none other than the hacker himself answers the door. This kid swings the door open, sees me, and it looks like he just saw a ghost. Like, he didn't say a word. He just stared at me and knew that he was fucked. And I was like, hey, man. He's like, yo, what's up? Are you Luna? And I was like, yeah. And I can't believe I had to say this out loud. I go, are you John Egglord? And he's like, oh, you saw my joke. I'm like, no. Not a joke, man. Not a joke. Are your parents home? And as I said that, I see one of them walk by in the kitchen behind him. And I yell out, I'm like, excuse me. And his dad comes up to the door. He's like, can I help you? I was like, hey, my name's Austin. I go by Luna on the internet. Your son watches my videos on YouTube. And thank fuck he talked about me out loud. And his dad goes, oh, no way, I've heard about you. He was just talking about you today. I was like, oh, really? Was he? What'd he say? He's like, he said that you guys became friends recently. Like, you were playing a game together on Xbox. I was like, not quite. Let me just explain something. I got a random DM almost a week ago with personal information that belonged to me in it from this random Twitter account that your son owns. And then throughout the week, I was getting identity theft alerts because your son was trying to use my SSN that he found somewhere to open accounts and steal my identity and spend money, my money. And his dad's like, oh, this has to be misunderstanding. I'm like, I thought that, but one of his friends reached out and I show his dad the friend's name. And I was like, yeah, he basically confirmed that this is your son doing this. And his dad goes, I know that name. That's one of his friends from school. And then he speaks up. He goes, which friend? And I'm like, he told me not to tell you. I don't want to rat him out. And he's like, fine. And he just turns around and walks away. Mr. Egglord, in real life, in the flesh, walked away. And his dad immediately starts apologizing for his son. He's like, look, I'm so sorry he did that. Like, I didn't even think my son was capable of doing something like that. I didn't even know that was possible online. And I was like, yeah, it's a really real problem going on the internet. But yeah, I just wanted to tell you about it. He's like, thank you for coming to us. And before I knew it, his mom came up to the door and I had to explain the whole story over again. And she looked so shocked. She looked like she was on the verge of tears. And like, I wasn't even here to try and rat this kid out and get him in a bunch of trouble. I just wanted the kid to stop, because obviously he could get in a bunch of trouble for doing what he was doing. And I thought that maybe if I went there in person and talked to his parents and him, that he would stop. So anyway, his mom looked super upset. She kept saying sorry to me. So did his dad. And then his mom asks me if I'm going to call the police over this and try and press charges on her son. And I was like, no, not at all. I did not have that intention to begin with. I just wanted to let you guys know about what he was doing, because it's illegal and he could get in trouble for it. And once again, no, I'm not calling the police on your son. He is 15. Everybody makes mistakes when they're 15, especially. Not that that's an excuse, but still, I'm not going to try and get charges brought up on a 15-year-old. That's just messed up. And they were like, oh, thank you so much. And I was like, don't thank me. It's okay. And they were really cool parents. They were just super, super cool. So what ended up happening is they gave me their number and then told me that they're going to ground their son for 2 weeks from social media and Xbox. And if that doesn't work, to give that phone number a call. It was the mom's personal cell phone number. And tell her that it's still happening. And then she'll take more extensive measures to punish her son and make him stop. Now, I had no doubt in my mind that he probably wasn't going to do it ever again, even if they didn't ground him. Because, I don't know, if I was messing with a YouTuber and then the YouTuber showed up at my front door, I'd be like, okay, I'll stop. I'm sorry. That's it. Anyway, after all that, they called their son down. He came down, Mr. Egglord, who I still didn't even know his real name. And he came up to me and apologized. And I asked him, I'm like, what's your real name, by the way? And he told me his first name. I'm not going to say the real name, but let's just say his name's Mikey. So I was like, thank you, Mikey. It means a lot. Also, you should work for the FBI when you're older, because you're clearly good at getting people's information. And they all laughed, and he said thank you. And he said he would stop. So I was glad to hear that. I said goodbye to them. They said goodbye. They wished me a safe drive home. I went back to my friend's car in the driveway. I got in. I told them everything that happened. And we started driving home. And I got a text from the dude's mom on the way home. And she was like, thank you once again. I promise that won't ever happen again. I was like, thank you. And I get home. I talked about it with my friends that were at my house. And that was pretty much it. Matter of fact, Mr. Egglord's Twitter went down the next day. So he must have just retired his hacking ways. But yeah, in the end, he didn't get in a bunch of trouble, which was good. I didn't want him to. Just wanted him to stop. And he did stop, at least with me. So wherever you are nowadays, Mikey, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're not doxing random YouTubers. And if you are, don't do that. But yeah, guys, moral of the story is, don't be like previous Mikey, or Egglord, as I should say. Do not dox random people on the internet, and do not send pizza to people's houses, or try and steal their identities, or call their phone number unrestricted. But yeah, guys, I thought this was a pretty interesting story time. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like on the video. I would really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below, and subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you guys all later. Peace.
Hop inside an Audi, then I did the dash. Shawty know I only care about the cash. Big guns, big sticks, big rash. She asked me how I got it, said I got it like that. I get it when I wanna, smoking marijuana. Keep it hotter than a sauna, smoking till the sun up. They asked me if I have bands, I said bring your funds up. They texted me to a challenge, and they didn't show up.